All right, in this video, we're going to do one more power up. This will be the last one I'll do in this series. And this time I want to show how we can have a power up that has a timed effect. So what I'm going to do is make a power up that causes our ship to become invincible, meaning lasers don't harm it, for 5 seconds. All right, so let's go in and get started. So the very first thing we need to do here is our ship needs an attribute that describes whether or not it's invincible. So I'm just going to say self.invincibility time, and I'll set it to 0. And so my thought is we're going to make anytime this number is greater than 0, then we're going to have the ship not get harmed by anything that hits it, by any of the bombs that hit it. All right. So we'll talk about how we make the power up in a second, but let's just get the ship configured for invincibility. And so we're going to go down to the check bombs function. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if self.invincibility time, did I call it time? Yeah. Is equal to 0, and we'll do all of our hit checking stuff. And then otherwise, we'll say self.invincibility time minus equals 1. So right now I'm going to play the game, and nothing should change because the invincibility time is 0. All right, and yep, you can see my shield decreasing. So the lasers are still taking effect. So, all right, so everything is working there. So now let's go think about how the power-up's going to work. So let's say, here's my double shot power-up. I'll just pick one to copy. And let's see, all we have to do is go into let's say we're going to call this invincibility. And let's see, and this is what changes. It's going to be invincibility timer. So we're going to set the invincibility time, not timer, for the ship. And we've got to set it to some number here. So I'm going to go up to our settings, so the Windows settings, and you can see that our game is running at 60 frames per second. And the update function on the ship is getting called 60 times per second. So what that means, if I were to set this to 300, right, once the ship catches an invincibility power up, it'll take, at 60 frames per second, it'll take 5 seconds for this to run down. Now, I think 300, when you see this number in the code, it kind of doesn't make sense. So I think a better way of writing it is going to be 5 times FPS. And so now this is the number of seconds, right, that we're going to be invincible. All right, so let's go down to the level setup and see if we can get one to work. And I'm going to do something here. Okay. I am going to just comment this out for a second, and I'm just going to only make one kind of power up right now, just because I'm testing all 3 at the same time. It's hard for me to know which kind I'm catching to make sure it's doing the right thing, right? So I'm going to make sure right now that the only power up that falls is an invincibility power up, and let's see if the bullets don't harm me after that. So I got to just avoid everybody for a little bit here. And let's give you a hit. And okay, it looks like the bullets are going through me. And now, all right. Now, something I noticed in that looked a little bit weird is that yes, I was invincible, but the lasers actually just passed right through me, and I think I still want them to disappear. So I'm going to go restructure my ship just a little bit. Let's see. And I'm going to swap some lines here. So I'm going to put this ahead of the conditional. And what this line, because when it gathers the hit list, because we set this to true, what will happen is the lasers will disappear when they hit me, but we'll only apply the damage conditionally. And then otherwise we subtract invincibility time. So I'm going to test this one more time. Here, and okay, yes, the lasers are disappearing, and let's see, 5 seconds has passed, and now I can get shot. All right, so I hope that gives you some extra ideas for maybe how you can create your own power-ups that have time limits attached to them.